Too much for a Sandman.
Enter the Carrousel. This is the time of renewal.
I've never killed anyone in my life. Sandmen terminate runners.
Be strong, and you will be renewed. Do you identify this word, sanctuary?
Is this good? Is this what you want?
I never heard of a Sandman running, ever.
Now it's different. Believe me.
Terminated, runner.
Isaac, stop! You can live!
This isn't the truth. This is a lie!
Isn't that what you do? Kill?
Killed? Why do you use that word?
I'm here today to talk about Pristinegrading services. Now, first of all, what is Pristinegrading services? It's a grading service submission company who has partnered with CGC for memorabilia preservation. Now, how is this better than going directly to CGC? Well, with their bulk volume discount that they are able to pass on to you, the customer, it is actually cheaper to go through Pristinegrading services than it is for you to go directly to CGC yourself. Now, that being said, they also have all these forms you have to fill out, and Pristine takes care of all of that. So it's simpler, and it's cheaper. This is a win-win. For me, personally, I have a number of items that are being mailed off today to Pristine, whether it be my Pokemon cards, one of my favorite games, which I happen to have a sealed copy of, Epic Mickey 2, or a previously graded Infinity Gauntlet autographed by George Perez #1, which was recently also cracked open and autographed by Joe Rubenstein as well. CGC is going to regrade that for me with a deep badge for both signatures, and I could not be more excited. So if you want to get your memorabilia preserved, whether it be sports cards, whether it be Pokemon cards, whether it be comic books or video games, reach out to Pristinegrading Services. There'll be a link down below. Check them out, everybody. Yotendo here, and welcome back to another episode of Forgotten Sci-Fi, where we talk about science fiction books, movies, and television shows from the past that maybe don't get enough recognition nowadays. So today we're going to talk about the 1976 movie Logan's Run, one of my all-time favorite science fiction movies. So, in Logan's Run, it starred Michael York. Now, you may know Michael York now from such things as he played Basil Exposition in the Austin Powers movies. He's the guy on the screen that would explain things to Austin so he knew what was going on. He also did the voice for Prime in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. We also had Jenny Agutter, who was one of the council members in both Captain America and the Avengers on the Secret Council thing there. And Richard Jordan, who has since passed away, but he was in every 80s movie. We're talking about Dune. We're talking about The Hunt for Red October. We're talking about Solar Babies. And he would play Francis Seven, the main antagonist of the movie. Whereas Michael York played Logan 5, who was the main protagonist of the movie. So, the basic plot of the movie is it's the year 2274, and humanity lives inside of a dome. And in the center of everyone's hand is a crystal, a gem. And that tells you how long you still have, because basically it's a form of population control to keep the homeostasis of the dome. You only have a certain amount of people living in the dome at a time. There's no old people. Everyone lives a certain amount of years. And when you start flashing red, well, then it's time for you to go. And what they do is they have these big celebrations, and they are called renewals. And everybody crowds into a big amphitheater, and they watch the reds. And the reds fly up into the air and disintegrate, and then they are renewed as the new babies in the nursery. So the population technically stays the same, but it's different. So what happens is the whole thing is run by a computer system, and the computer determines that something is not working properly. So they have like a police force called the Sandmen, and Logan 5 and Francis 7 are both Sandmen, and they are also best friends. Now, Logan is given the secret task of finding the rebellion, the people that are trying to take down the system, and that's how he meets the character Jenny. And Francis does not know about his secret mission, and the main issue here is that Logan's crystal was silver, but was changed to red so he would be believable in trying to find the rebellion to run. They call them runners, people that try to escape renewal. And then they're killed with laser guns, and the special effects in this movie are atrocious. I mean, they are horrible. If someone fired a laser at me right now on the movie, it would look like somebody drew it on there with a marker, and there would be a sparkler package on the wall behind me that explodes. It's really, really cheesy. But it's 1976, so it came out the same time as Star Wars did, but this actually won Best Special Effects Oscar at the time. Came out a year before Star Wars, and Star Wars actually created all its own special effects, and that's why they were so much better. But this was groundbreaking at the time up until Star Wars. So Logan gets in touch with the rebellion, and then he finds out he is not going to get his years back. He is going to stay red. So he actually decides to run. He grabs the girl, and they run. They try to escape. All the while being pursued by Francis, his best friend. So now who didn't know this was a secret mission and didn't know what was going on. All he knows is his best friend has become a runner. And that's pretty much where the story takes us. It takes us to them trying to escape the dome and go live a life outside of the dome. I can't really give any spoilers on a 46-year-old movie, because they do make it outside the dome, and you find out that they are in the far, far future. They meet their first old person who's living in the ruins of Washington, D.C. There's quite a departure, because this was originally books, and there's quite a departure from the books and the movie, because even with the books had a lot more story to it. They ended up finding a rocket, going to the moon, this whole thing. The movies were fantastic. Well, there's only been one. There were several books in the series. That's part of the issue, is that this thing was stuck in development hell for 20 years being made, and then they wanted to remake it, and it's been stuck in development hell since the 90s at this point. I don't know if it'll ever get remade, but holy crap, if we need a remake of an older sci-fi movie that really deserves a new good script and today's special effects, it would definitely be Logan's Run. It's a phenomenal movie. It's one of my absolute favorite. If you can look past the cheesy special effects and the light story and really look at the scope of what they were trying to present, it's pretty impressive, and I truly enjoy it. It's a very ideological science fiction movie. I know a lot of science fiction movies like to try to analogize things from today's political climate or whatever and put it into a science fiction movie. And they kind of did that with Logan's Run, but at the most part, you're looking at this beautiful story in a world that they created where humanity is living in these domes and they don't know that there's actually stuff outside the dome, because as far as they were aware, they would die if they ever left there, that it was all just wasteland and poison gas. And that's very much not the case. It's like nature reclaimed the world other than the domes. So, but from what I understand, there are more domes. Now, in Logan's Run, you only see the one dome, and that's all you ever find out about. But in the books, there are multiple domes, and people find out about them, and they find out that there's this whole entire world out there just waiting for humanity to reclaim it. So, definitely check out Logan's Run. It's one of my all-time favorites. You're really going to enjoy it. And it's streaming right now on Hulu. So go check it out. Have a great day.